Hello and welcome back to this walkthrough of the KSP Career in 1.0. My name's Negative Root, and let's get cracking. Today we're going to be returning from Duna. Now I've had a bit of fun with this one, but let's get started. Now, so the goal is to return to Kerbin from orbit of Duna. So this is the Duna Shot 2. Now it is the second craft I've sent out here because now it has a parachute, and that means that we can land this craft back on Kerbin. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to set up our transfer. Now, just like our transfer from Kerbin to Duna, there is an efficient place to wait. Same thing with this. Now, the orbital period here is 48 minutes. So what we want to do, so we want to come out of warp 35 minutes beforehand. That'll give us the most margin for error on our orbit, and then we're going to get in the right plane, basically. The right phase angle is what it's called. Now you may remember that I had the. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'll jump back to the Space Center so I can warp, because we're going to have to wait for a year and a half for the launch window. And while we warp, I'll talk about what happened as I was trying to set this up. Now, what ended up happening? Warp. What ended up happening was, remember we had the Duna Shot 1. Now you notice that everything's got like 3.5 years now on the clock, so I've had to wait a bit. So what had happened, right, is the moon, or the Duna Shot 1, had that elliptical orbit that was out near Ike, and I was planning to use that to get an Ike capture, do some stuff around Ike, and then come back. Now, I left it and I forgot about it, and I set up the Duna Shot 2, and while I was waiting for the launch window for the Duna Shot 2, I noticed that the Duna Shot 1 was way out here in a solar orbit. Now the funny thing that had happened, right, was it was orbiting around Duna, and it must have had an encounter with Ike and got a gravity slingshot out of the Duna system and into the solar orbit. So basically, Ike kicked our butt, and that was, yeah, not ideal, but you know, it is what it is. And today we're going to get this to work out. Now, we're going to do the same principles that we covered last time, except it's going to be more condensed this time. So step 1, wait for the right launch window, which we're doing right now by waiting for the Kerbin alarm clock to go off. Okay, we're waiting for the phase angle to be correct. We've got to wait for Kerbin to come around and be in a good spot. The Kerbin Shot 2 is obviously orbiting around the sun. And yeah, once we've got that set up, we'll punch in our maneuver. And transferring back shouldn't be too hard. Now what I did was I cheated a little bit, and I turned on infinite fuel just to get myself into orbit. And you're going to need about, I think it's roughly 1,000 delta V to get back home from here. And we should have that. So long as you're in orbit around Duna with 1,000 delta V, I think that's enough to get home. But we'll have a look at exactly how much we need. We're coming up to the launch window now. Now the same thing holds, right? So if we are going from Duna up to, say, Dres, okay, we would need to enter prograde, exit the sphere of influence prograde. We'd need to come this way. That would boost our orbit up. Now, because we're going in, we need to leave retrograde, which means that, okay, if we do a shot 2, fly, we need to set it up so that our exit vector is directly along the orbit line. Okay, retrograde. Okay, so we'll set Kerbin as our target. We'll zoom in, and we want to go this way. Now let's see how much we got. Now first things first, well, yeah, first things first, we'll straighten that up a little bit. Make sure that they are aligned. Okay, we're going to pull on this. We'll keep pulling until we get right the way down to Kerbin's. Oh, okay, so 1500 is what we're at currently. Maybe it's a bit more. What the heck? Okay, so obviously that's too far. So we'll come back. The close approach markers don't show up for us. How disappointing. So this is a question of, can we do it? Ooh. So you can see why this is so inefficient. Okay, so we'll come back to this, right? Looks like we're going to king hit him on the way out. And because we are, we're not going to be able to see past it. Now, obviously the game has something called patch conics in it. Now we're going to take this and we're going to hope for the best. What patch conics are is how many orbits, or how the game calculates the orbits. So the standard one will only give you a certain amount of sphere of influence changes before it stops. You can change it in the config file, but I'm going to run this like this because I think this is in the right spot. I think it is anyway. So warp around here. It feels good. I like this. And we've got 2000 delta V in the tank. So if I make this transfer right, 1090, we should be okay. Okay, we're about at the burn. Okay, let's go for it. What's stopping us, you know? Oops, wrong button. What now? Let's stop it about there. Okay, and we're going to warp out and see where this gets us. Okay, so now we can see what's happening with our orbit. Oh dear. So you can see that our encounter with the lovely Ike has really thrown things out. Now the reason why this is not advisable, okay, is because you lose a lot of delta V by attempting this kind of thing. So you see I'm going to burn up a lot more of my delta V to get the periapsis where it needs to be. Oh, so you see this is going to happen in a year's time? That's no good. So where is this? Okay. That's no good. What I need to do is get out of the sphere of influence so I can see what actually is going to happen. And then I'm going to show you how to do all this when it all goes to poo. The better way of going would have been to wait for Ike to get the hell out of the way. So take another day or two. That would be the best way of doing it. Rightio, let's boost our orbit up. Oop. Okay. Nope. Okay, that's too far out. Need to come back. And there we go. So obviously you need to pack the fuel to be able to do this kind of shenanigans. Oh, we're actually on time warp currently. That's not ideal. Anyway, we got it done. Just warp in. And what we'll do, okay, is we'll just turn off the maneuver node because we know roughly where we want to go to. And we will get the encounter. We got the tank and the fuel in the tank. So we'll turn that off. Off we go. Gonna have to use half it though to get there. See, this is working our close approach down. And as I said, the better way of going would have been to wait until Ike is out of the way, because waiting a day or two, or a week even, doesn't really affect your delta V total that badly. Just that I was impatient, and you can see what not to do here. Alright, we'll throttle up a bit, get that close approach down. Okay, there's the sphere of influence. Where the hell is Kerbin? Here it is. Let's focus view on it. Okay, let's just see if I can pick this up a little bit. Nope, wrong way. Ah dear, I hate it when that happens. Now the idea is that we get in pretty close. We'll aim for say 50,000 Ks, I think. Right. And we'll also do a little bit of a trick with a gravity turn as well. Sorry, a gravity assist. Okay, there we go. Now what I want to do, right, is I actually want to come in on this side of the planet. So we'll adjust our vector until it is on this side. Okay. You have to wait until I'm a little bit closer to get the actual whoop. Should be this way, I'm thinking. It is excellent. There it was. I may have to wait until I'm a little bit closer to get the fine tuning that I want. So zoom out. Okay. We're here. We're there. Okay. We'll warp here. And basically, what I'm banking on is I'm going to have enough left in the tank to like smash a burn out at like the periapsis, and hopefully we wipe enough off our velocity to get the transfer, or to get the capture rather. That's what I'm banking on, and I've, fingers crossed that we'll be able to do it. With a good transfer, you could do this in 1200 delta V, easy. That's with plane changes, not a plane change, a mid-course correction and everything. You could do it in a 1200, easy. I'm going to take roughly 2000 because I was impatient and didn't wait for Ike to get out of the way. And it threw me into an orbit that was halfway to Eve in the end there. Okay, so the time warp is complete. Now we can fine-tune this down to where we want it to be. I may have to come a little bit closer. Yep, I'll have to come a little bit closer to get the real fine tuning that I want. So I'll wait another 37 days. Okay, so you see how my orbit is quite bent. Okay, this is a good thing. I'm hoping that means it's going to wipe a lot of my velocity off for me, help bring me into a capture. That's a little bit too far. I need to come back out. As I said, I'm aiming for about 50,000. Oh, too far. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this. What this is going to do is it's just going to give me a little bit more finesse when it comes to actually making these burns, because obviously 10% throttle is just way too powerful. Much better, isn't it? Oh no, wrong way. And you can spend hours fiddling around with this. Well, you can see how much our orbit is deflecting there. So that is great news. Nope, wrong way. There we go, 52. Excellent. So we're going to get our capture and our escape, and it's going to work. It's going to work. Rightio. So, bets. What's going to happen here? I think I'm going to hit it at roughly 3,000 meters per second. We'll warp here, actually. That's probably a better way of doing it. There she is. Big blue Kerbin. Excellent. So we're back. The question is, are we going to die? So we'll get orientated retrograde. We'll turn off that. Obviously there's no targeting here. I'm just going to land wherever. Interesting. So 3,300. And I'm going to burn at our closest point. Cannot warp while the ship is under acceleration. There you go. Okay, so you can see that our apoapsis height is changing. And I need to turn up the thrust limiter, because I am going to have to punch it. Punch it and hope for the best. 30 seconds until apoapsis. And you can see that it is changing our orbit, okay? We are being slowed down. And the reason I've gone for 50,000 is because that should be a little bit gentler on the re-entry. If I punched it in at 40,000, we get some really good heating effects. which might not be ideal. So we're going to burn now, 5 seconds either side. There we go, we've got it. We're in orbit. Oh, that is excellent. Oh, that is wonderful. We're going to make it. We are going to make it, and it's going to be great. I just need to survive re-entry after 4 years. I think that it's key. Patience is definitely key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this little probe back on the ground, and I'll see you all in the next video for whatever that may be.